Ladies and gentlemen, you rise again. You stumble, you fall, you taste dust. Yet here you stand. You stand because your scars are not signs of defeat, but proof of resilience. When life pushes you to your knees, when despair whispers that you're finished, that's the moment you plant your feet and say no. You are not done. You have the power to stand, to grow, to push forward with more fire than ever before. Because here's the truth. Your comeback isn't a courtesy. It's a calling. The world didn't see you fall. It saw you rise. It saw you take what should have killed you and use it as fuel. Hard times don't build character. They reveal character. It's easy to stand tall when the sun shines, but to stand when the storm is raging, that's strength. That's purpose. You want the powerful stand tall when everything around them shakes. They choose discipline when it's easier to quit. They wake at dawn when temptation lures at night. They push past excuses. They push past fear. They operate beyond comfort, because comfort kills greatness. And you don't just want to be good. You want to be legendary. Take stock of your story. The failures, the heartbreaks, the losses. They're not there to break you. They are the chapters that give your redemption depth. They give your rise weight. They give your triumph meaning. You don't erase them. You embrace them. You learn from them. You grow. Deep down you know the greatest achievements aren't the easy ones. The greatest ones cost you sweat, tears, late nights, doubt. And in that cost, there's value. You say, I'll pay it. And you do. Let me paint a picture. You wake before dawn. Your body protests. Your mind screams for excuses. But you remember what's on the line. You remember the voice that said you couldn't. You remember the promise you made to yourself. So you rise, you stretch, you move, you take the first step. And then another and another. Momentum builds. And with every push, doubt fades. That's how champions are made. Not in stadiums, not in headlines, but in the quiet hours when no one's watching. Don't seek approval. Seek excellence. Don't aim to meet expectations. Aim to exceed them. You build a standard inside. A standard so high, so relentless, that every time you fall short, you're not discouraged. You're compelled to do better, to be better. You bring relentless energy. Unwavering focus, uncompromising integrity. That's how you come back stronger. Remember, strength isn't silence, it's voice. Loud, clear, unwavering. Your life matters. Your purpose resonates. And if pain has given you a message, you better deliver it. Share what you've endured. Share what you've overcome. Let your journey light the way for someone still in darkness. That's real power. That's legacy. Yet never confuse grit with aggression. To have fire in your belly doesn't mean you burn the world around you. You fight your battles with respect, with honor, with wisdom. You let humility guide your ambition, because arrogance is loud. Humility is strong, and strength in silence, that roars, so you pick up the tools, whatever they are. Education, faith, discipline, community, hard work, you put them to use not as flashy accessories, but as foundations, and you build brick by brick, step by step. You'll look back one day and realize those small daily decisions, when you chose to show up, those built an empire. You will face setbacks again. You will taste bitterness again. You will stumble, but this time you'll get up faster. You'll learn sooner. You'll adapt better. The knockdowns don't define you. The rises do. And every single time you rise, you add a layer of armor, a layer of wisdom, a layer of belief that tells the next storm, I've seen worse. I know how this ends. You've got a mission, a fire that can't be dimmed. Look in the mirror tonight and say, I am more than my scars. I am more than my failures. I am the storm that overcame them. I am the voice of hope in the silence. I am the example for those watching. I am the promise fulfilled. Don't wait for permission. Don't chase validation. Win your battles in private, then walk out and show up in public. Let the results shout for you. Stand so tall in your integrity, your faith, your vision, that nothing can shake you. Even if the world doubts, you believe. Even if you fail, you learn. Even when darkness surrounds, you are light. Because here's what you must know. There is greatness in your lineage, in your blood, in your mind, in your heart. Others have fallen and stood again. They've walked broken and walked whole. That history lives in you, the grit, the resilience, the revival. It's written in your DNA, and let me tell you, When you come back stronger, it's not just for you. It's for everyone who ever gave up on themselves. It's for the lost and the weary. It's for the next generation learning to walk with dignity. You're not just rising, you're lifting others with you. That's the true measure of strength, to build more than you take. So here's your calling. Wake up each morning and ask, how am I better today than yesterday? How can I inspire? How can I give? How can I love harder? How can I work smarter? How can I refuse to stay down? Don't settle for okay. Strive for excellence, not because others will applaud, but because you owe it to yourself to be everything you can be. Greatness does not whisper, it speaks loud. It demands attention, not with arrogance, but with authenticity. It's built on sacrifices, on late nights, on getting up when no one else would. It's built on quiet commitment, on invisible work, on the faith that this moment matters. This is your rise moment. This is your charge. This is where you leave doubt behind. This is where you show yourself what you're made of. You are made of dreams bigger than your fears, of prayers louder than your doubts, of purpose deeper than any disappointment. So stand, dig deep, push forward, raise your head, let your eyes burn with intent, let your voice crumble walls, let your journey light rooms. You come back stronger, not for revenge, but for redemption. Not for show, but for purpose, not for glory, but for legacy. And when you do rise, and you'll realize something powerful. The comeback was always inside you. It was waiting for you to claim it, to own it, to fight for it, to commit to it. You rose, you conquered, and you took all of life with you. Rise and show the world how strong you've become. Resilience is not just about bouncing back. It's about how you respond when life hands you something that's meant to break you. It's about taking the hit, standing up, wiping the blood from your mouth and saying, "Is that all you got?" Because that moment, the one where the average person quits, the one where the crowd turns their back, the one where your energy is gone and your hope is low, that's the exact moment that defines whether you give in or grow. Resilience is your decision to move forward even with shaking hands and a trembling heart. You see, the truth is, pain is a part of the process. You can't run from it. You can't pray it away. You have to walk through it. You have to sit with it. You have to let it shape you, mold you, stretch you, and it will. Because pressure doesn't destroy diamonds, it reveals them. And when you let your hardship work on you instead of against you, you come out on the other side stronger, wiser, more focused than ever. You ever notice how the strongest people in the room are often the quietest? The ones who have been through something, the ones who have known loss, who have faced betrayal, who have hit rock bottom. They don't need to scream. They don't need to prove anything. Their presence speaks for them, because resilience builds character, and character speaks louder than noise. When you're resilient, your energy shifts. You stop reacting to chaos, and you start creating clarity. You stop chasing validation, and you start building vision. But let's get one thing straight. It's not easy. Resilience is not born in comfort. It's born in struggle, in rejection, in long nights where your eyes burn but your soul says, keep going. It's built in the silence when no one's clapping for you, no one's watching, no one's checking in. It's built in the choices you make when quitting feels justified, but your spirit says otherwise. You earn resilience. You build it step by step, decision by decision, not all at once, but over time. And every time you choose to stand, you get a little stronger, a little sharper, a little more unstoppable. Understand this. Failure is not your enemy. It's your instructor. It teaches you what you're made of. It shows you where you've been lazy, where you've been soft, where you've compromised, and it invites you to rise, to adjust, to grow. The problem is, most people treat failure like a period when it's just a comma. Just a pause, just a detour. The ones who rise, they don't run from failure. They respect it, they learn from it, and they come back with something more powerful than perfection, experience. Resilience is rooted in purpose. When you know why you're doing what you're doing, when the mission is bigger than your mood, you'll keep moving even when motivation fades. That's what separates those who talk from those who transform. See, hype fades, passion wavers, but purpose wakes you up when you'd rather stay down. It keeps your feet moving when your heart's broken. It gives pain a job to do. It makes every loss part of a larger plan. You want to build resilience, start by owning your story, not the polished version, not the highlight reel, the raw, uncut behind, the scene's truth. Own the moments you were unsure. Own the times you failed. Own the days you didn't want to get out of bed but did anyway. Because when you own your story, it can no longer own you. It becomes your fuel, not your shame. It becomes your message, not your mask. And when you look back at everything you've survived, everything you've fought through, you realize resilience isn't about what happened to you. It's about what you did with what happened. It's the choice to say, yes, this hurt. Yes, this shook me, but no, it won't stop me. That choice made again and again and again, that's resilience, but it's not just internal. Resilience grows in community, in connection, in finding people who won't let you stay down, people who speak life into you when your voice is tired, people who remind you who you are when you forget, because we weren't built to do this alone. Even the strongest need strength poured back into them, and when you surround yourself with truth, tellers, with warriors, with visionaries, you don't just survive the storm. You grow in it. Don't confuse resilience with perfection. You can be strong and still have days where you break down. You can be powerful and still cry, still rest, still need help. Real resilience isn't denying your pain. It's facing it, feeling it, and still finding the courage to move forward. It's emotional intelligence. It's spiritual depth. It's the understanding that your value isn't tied to how many wins you post. It's tied to how many times you keep showing up, even when it's hard. Because the comeback doesn't begin when things get better. It begins when you decide to fight again, to believe again, to stand again, even if you don't have it all figured out, even if the plan is messy, even if the world is still chaotic. Resilience starts in your decision to rise. Right here, right now. It's in your language. What are you telling yourself? Are you rehearsing failure, or are you rehearsing faith? Are you speaking defeat, or are you declaring destiny? Your words have weight. Your mindset has power, and your actions follow your beliefs. So if you want to walk in resilience, you better start speaking like someone who's not done yet. Start thinking like someone who's already overcome. Start acting like someone who knows storms don't last forever. But strong people do. When you commit to building resilience, life changes. Not because it gets easier, but because you get better. Stronger, smarter, you stop fearing the fight and you start embracing it. You see challenge not as a punishment, but as a proving ground, and you carry yourself with a quiet, unshakable confidence that says, whatever comes, I'm built for it. Not because of your title, not because of your status, but because of your soul, your work ethic, your commitment, your history of rising again and again and again. There's something powerful about a person who's walked through fire and didn't lose their faith. Someone who lost it all and still kept their joy. That's not luck. That's resilience. That's spiritual muscle. That's character developed in chaos. That's who you are becoming, and that's unstoppable. Discipline is the difference between what you want now and what you want most. It's the decision you make at 5 a.m. when the bed is warm and your body is tired, but your goals are louder than your excuses. It's the voice inside that says, get up, keep going, no matter how you feel, show up. See, comfort is easy, it's seductive. It tells you to take the day off, to do it tomorrow, to wait for the perfect time. But discipline doesn't wait. Discipline acts. Discipline doesn't beg for motivation. It builds routine. It builds consistency. It builds strength. Everyone wants success. Everybody wants to be great. But wanting it isn't enough. You have to be willing to put in the work when no one's watching. You have to be willing to say no to the things that feel good so you can say yes to the things that matter. Discipline is about sacrifice. It's about choosing progress over pleasure, mission over mood, principles over popularity. When you're disciplined, you don't ask if you feel like it. You do it because it's necessary. Because it's who you are. Because it's what's required. Comfort tells you to stay where it's safe. Comfort tells you that you've done enough. Comfort lies to you. It flatters you. It gives you just enough to keep you from becoming who you were meant to be. But discipline tells you the truth. It reminds you that potential means nothing without action. It tells you the goal isn't just to start strong, but to finish stronger. It forces you to confront the gap between your dreams and your habits. And that confrontation is where real growth begins. You don't build discipline when everything's going your way. You build it in adversity, in the moments when your energy is gone, but you grind anyway. In the nights where your eyes are heavy, but your vision is clear. Discipline doesn't show up once. It shows up daily, in your choices, in your routine, in the way you speak, the way you walk, the way you carry yourself. Because how you do anything is how you do everything. If you cut corners in silence, don't be surprised when the results never show up in public. You want to come back stronger, start with your habits. Start with the things you do when nobody's watching. Do you take shortcuts? Do you give up halfway through, or do you push through when it's hard? Do you train your mind to be sharp, your spirit to be focused, your hands to be steady? That's what discipline does. It trains every part of you to rise to the occasion, no matter how you feel. Feelings are temporary. Discipline is permanent, and understand this. Discipline doesn't always look heroic. Sometimes it's boring. It's waking up early and sticking to a schedule. It's saying no when everybody else says yes. It's studying when your friends are out partying. It's working on your craft when no one claps for you. It's showing up when the applause stops. It's not glamorous. It's not flashy, but it's effective. And over time, it separates the committed from the comfortable, the focused from the distracted, the successful from the sorry. Everybody talks about success like it's a mystery, like it's locked away behind some secret code. But the truth is, it's right in front of you. It's in the decisions you make every single day. It's in the ability to delay gratification. To do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. That's discipline, and that's what wins. See, comfort kills ambition. Comfort whispers, you've earned a break. Discipline replies, not yet. Comfort says, take it easy. Discipline answers, I'm not there yet. Comfort is concerned with now. Discipline is concerned with forever, with the big picture, with the future that's waiting on the other side of your effort. You don't chase comfort. You chase growth. You chase mastery. You chase something bigger than yourself, because greatness never comes to the lazy. It comes to the consistent, and here's the thing. Discipline doesn't just build your body, your business, or your bank account. It builds your identity. It shapes the kind of person you become. Every time you choose discipline, you cast a vote for the version of yourself that doesn't quit, that doesn't break, that doesn't bend under pressure. You start to believe in that person. You start to become that person. You walk with more confidence. You speak with more authority. You live with more intention. But the work isn't always pretty. Sometimes you'll be tired. Sometimes you'll be alone. Sometimes you'll question if it's worth it. But that's when you dig deep. That's when you remind yourself why you started. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need commitment. You need fire. You need a reason that's bigger than your excuses. Because when your why is strong enough, discipline becomes natural. It becomes a lifestyle. The enemy of discipline is distraction. You can't afford to be everywhere, doing everything, chasing every trend. Discipline demands focus. You lock in. You shut out the noise. You don't compete with other people. You compete with your potential, with who you were yesterday, with who you could become. You become laser sharp. You don't waste time. You don't beg for attention. You put your head down and grind, and the world eventually takes notice, not because you asked for it, but because you earned it. And yes, there will be times when you slip, times when you fall short. That's not failure, it's feedback. Discipline doesn't demand perfection. It demands consistency. You get back up, you adjust, you learn, you recommit. That's how champions are made. Not by getting it right every time, but by refusing to stay down when they get it wrong. The truth is, the most dangerous person in any room is the one who has mastered themselves, who's not swayed by temptation, who's not reactive to emotion, who doesn't need a crowd to perform. That's what discipline gives you, Power over your mind, over your time, over your life. When you have that, you don't need permission. You don't need applause. You walk in authority because you know who you are and what you're about. So when the pressure's on, when the days feel long, when the progress is slow, remember why you started. Remember what you're building. Remember what's at stake. Comfort won't build your dreams, but discipline. Discipline will carry them across the finish line. Every time, legacy is not built in a moment. It's built in how you live, how you love, how you lead. It's not something you chase. It's something you leave behind. And the truth is, the greatest legacies aren't built by people who try to impress the world. They're built by people who impact the world. People who live in such a way that when others watch them, they don't just see success. They see strength, faith, discipline, consistency, and heart. A legacy isn't what you leave in your bank account. It's what you deposit into people, into hearts, into minds, into futures. And the most powerful way to build a legacy is by example. You don't have to talk loud when your actions speak clearly. You don't have to convince people when your life is already the evidence. Because here's what happens. When you walk in integrity, others take notice. When you do the right thing when no one's watching, someone still sees. When you keep your word even when it costs you, it resonates. You become a reference point, a standard. You become the one they mention when they talk about what consistency looks like, what character looks like, what showing up in the storm looks like. People are always watching. Whether you realize it or not, someone is learning from you. They're learning how to carry themselves, how to handle pressure, how to respond to failure. They're watching how you treat people, how you handle success, how you show up when things get hard. And the way you live your life, moment by moment, is teaching a lesson. You don't need a classroom. You don't need a mic. Your life is the message. And when you lead by example, you plant seeds in people that grow long after you're gone. See, legacy through example isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about being real. People don't connect with perfection. They connect with honesty. They connect with struggle. They connect with someone who's been through the fire and still stands. Someone who made mistakes but owned them. Someone who failed but didn't quit. That's what inspires. That's what sticks. That's what leaves a mark. There's a kind of strength that comes from choosing to lead by example, even when it's inconvenient. When you could take shortcuts but you don't. When you could take the easy way but you grind. When you could get away with mediocrity but you choose excellence. That's leadership. That's legacy. You teach people what's possible not by telling them, but by showing them. By being the one who didn't just talk about principles, but lived them when it mattered most. And here's the thing. Legacy doesn't just impact strangers. It starts with the people closest to you, your family, your friends, your team, your community, the way you speak to your children, the way you honor your parents, the way you serve when no one's saying thank you, the way you give without expecting something in return. These moments, they seem small, but they echo, they last. They linger, because legacy isn't made of one big move, it's made of 1,000 little ones. Daily decisions, quiet sacrifices, steady leadership. When you live for legacy, you stop chasing applause and start chasing alignment. You align your values with your actions, your words with your walk, your dreams with your discipline. Because you understand, legacy is not about what you build, it's about who you become. And when you become someone worth following, someone worth remembering, you've already started changing the world. Not through fame, not through noise, but through presence, through intention, through love. Leading by example also means being the first to step up and the last to back down. It means when everyone else is silent, you speak up. When everyone else is frozen, you move. It's easy to do what's right when it's popular. But to do what's right when it's costly, that's what builds legacy. That's what creates impact. That's when people remember your name not because you were loud, but because you were bold. Sometimes your example will be the only light someone sees. Your perseverance, your attitude, your faith, your work ethic. Someone's watching, wondering if it's still possible to rise from pain, to lead with honor, to live with purpose, and your life becomes the proof. Your journey becomes the answer. They look at you and say, if they can do it, maybe I can too. And in that moment, your example becomes their ignition. We often think legacy is something you think about at the end. But the truth is, legacy is created every single day, right now, in the way you handle failure, in the way you treat people who can't do anything for you, in the way you respond when life doesn't go your way. That's when legacy is written, not on your best day, but on your toughest one. That's when your character is carved into the hearts of others, not because you were perfect, but because you were present, because you kept showing up, because you lived with integrity even when it cost you something. And legacy through example isn't just about lifting yourself. It's about lifting others. It's about reaching back while you climb. About mentoring, teaching, encouraging, leaving doors open. You don't just build your name. You build others. You light candles instead of just shining alone. You bring others into rooms instead of keeping the spotlight for yourself. Because legacy is multiplied through generosity, through humility, through selflessness. You may not always see the impact of your example right away, but trust it's working, it's speaking, it's changing lives in ways you'll never fully know. That child who watched you never give up, that co-worker who noticed your honesty, that neighbor who saw your quiet acts of service. Your legacy is in the ripple, in the influence, in the echo of every action you take with purpose. And that's the beauty of it. You don't have to wait for legacy. You live it now. You live it in the ordinary, in the way you apologize when you're wrong, in the way you give when you're tired, in the way you keep pushing when giving up would be easier. Every moment is a choice to lead. Every day is a chance to inspire, and when you live like that, when your life becomes an example of what's possible, you don't just pass through this world, you leave it better than you found it. Authenticity is rare in a world obsessed with image. It's not flashy, it's not filtered, it's real, it's raw. It's the courage to be who you are, even when the world is begging you to be something else. It's choosing truth over performance, purpose over perception. And that choice, that daily, quiet, unwavering choice to show up as your full, flawed, powerful self is what builds true greatness. Not the kind that fades with trends or falls with opinions, but the kind that stands the test of time. You can't fake authenticity. You can fake charisma. You can fake perfection. You can fake strength. But authenticity, people feel that. They see it in the way you move, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself. They see it when you admit your mistakes, when you say, I don't know, instead of pretending you do, when you choose vulnerability over vanity, when you show the scars, not just the success. And the beautiful thing is, people don't connect with your image, they connect with your humanity. With your truth, with your struggle, with your journey. Greatness doesn't come from wearing a mask. It comes from removing one, from peeling off the layers of expectations, comparisons, and fear until what's left is something unshakable. Your identity. That's where the real power is. Not in pretending to be more, but in owning who you already are. And when you own it, fully, completely, you stop chasing applause and start walking in purpose. You stop competing and start creating. You stop performing and start leading. Authenticity gives you freedom. You don't waste energy trying to keep up appearances. You don't bend your values just to fit in. You don't have to lie to be liked. You stand in your truth, and the people meant to walk with you, they find you, the ones who value depth over drama, substance over style, integrity over image. When you live authentically, you attract what's real because you are real. And real always lasts longer than fake. But make no mistake, authenticity is not passive. It's a daily discipline. It means choosing honesty when lying would make things easier. It means walking away from opportunities that don't align with your values. It means standing firm when others try to twist your truth. It means not shrinking yourself to be palatable and not puffing yourself up to be impressive. Just being you, unapologetically, uncompromisingly, unshakably. That kind of clarity gives you peace, because the more you walk in your truth, the less approval you need from others. You stop asking for permission to be you. You give yourself the green light. And in that space where you're not trying to be liked, just trying to be real, you find your rhythm, your power, your greatness. People follow authenticity because it's rare, because it gives them permission to do the same. When you show up real, you make room for others to do the same. You become a mirror for people looking for courage. You become the reminder that they don't have to pretend either, that they're enough, that they're valuable without the performance, that they can bring their whole self to the table and still be worthy of love, respect, and opportunity. Authenticity also builds trust. You can't lead people who don't trust you. And people don't trust image. They trust integrity. They trust consistency. They trust vulnerability. They trust someone who doesn't just talk the talk, but lives the walk. And when you lead with authenticity, your words have weight. Not because you say them loudly, but because people know they come from a place of truth. The most powerful people are the ones who are the same in every room, who don't change based on the crowd, who don't shift to fit the moment. They know who they are. They've done the work. They've faced their flaws. They've healed their wounds. They've stopped hiding. That kind of presence commands respect, not because it demands it, but because it embodies it. And authenticity isn't just about how you present yourself to the world. It's about how you face yourself in the mirror, in the quiet, when nobody's watching. Are you honest about your intentions, about your motives, about your fears? Do you tell yourself the truth, even when it's uncomfortable? Because greatness begins in self-awareness, in doing the inner work, in confronting the parts of yourself that need to grow, that need to change, that need to heal. That's where the fire comes from. Not from pretending to have it all together, but from doing the work to get better. From being humble enough to learn and strong enough to stand. From owning your flaws but refusing to be defined by them. From carrying your past but not letting it control your future. From walking through pain but not losing your purpose. You become unshakable not by being perfect, but by being grounded. Grounded in who you are, grounded in what you believe, grounded in what you're building, and no storm can shake that kind of foundation. No failure can erase that kind of clarity. No opinion can dim that kind of light. Authenticity is also power in leadership, because people don't want perfect leaders. They want real ones. Leaders who admit when they're wrong. Leaders who listen. Leaders who don't act like they have all the answers but know how to find them. Leaders who don't manipulate people but move them. Through example, through conviction, through compassion. And that kind of leadership, that changes lives. Because when you lead from a place of authenticity, you give people more than direction. You give them belief. Belief that they can be themselves too. Belief that greatness isn't about perfection, it's about progression. Belief that their story, no matter how messy, still matters. You become a lighthouse in a world full of mirrors. Constant reflections, constant projections. You shine not by reflecting what others want to see, but by standing firm in your truth. You don't chase trends, you set them. You don't mold yourself to the moment. You shape the moment with your presence, with your heart, with your truth, and that's unforgettable, that's undeniable. That's the kind of greatness that outlives the hype, that stays strong when the spotlight fades. That leaves a legacy written not in likes but in lives. True greatness doesn't need a mask. It needs a mission. It needs truth. It needs someone bold enough to say, "This is who I am. This is what I stand for, and I'm not changing just to be accepted." That's strength. That's power. That's the foundation everything real is built on. Not the illusion of who you think you should be, but the truth of who you are becoming.